Welcome to the Explainer. You know, for over a decade, cybersecurity had a gold standard for protecting administrators, something called the Red Forest. So today, we're going to dig into why Microsoft is officially moving on and what their new Zero Trust playbook really means for keeping your entire organization secure. So let's just start with a really important question for anyone in IT leadership. Is your security strategy actually built for the world we live in today? Or is it stuck in the world of 10 years ago? Because the way we protect our most powerful accounts has completely changed. And frankly, using outdated methods is a risk nobody can afford to take. Okay, so to really get where we're going, we first have to look back at where we've been. Let's talk about that old gold standard, the Enhanced Security Admin Environment, or ESEA. For more than a decade, if you wanted to lock down your on-premises Active Directory admins, Microsoft basically had one answer for you: the ESAE. Now, you've probably heard it called by its way cooler names like the Red Forest or the Admin Forest. The best way to think about it is like a digital fortress. I mean, the core idea was pretty brilliant for its time. You'd create a totally separate, super isolated, and hardened Active Directory forest, just for your most critical admin accounts. The whole point was to make it nearly impossible for an attacker who got into your main network to also grab the keys to the kingdom. But here's the thing about fortresses, right? They work best when the world outside is predictable. And well, the digital world didn't just move on, it sprinted ahead. The threats and the very way our IT environments are built have evolved dramatically. And you can see that shift right here on this slide. I mean, look at the left. That was the simple on-prem world with a nice contained perimeter. Now look at the right. It's a borderless world. We have attack surfaces spread across on-prem, multiple clouds, and tons of remote devices. Control isn't in one place anymore. It's distributed literally everywhere. So when you boil it all down, the Red Forest model just wasn't built for this new reality. I mean, it was designed only for an on-premises world, which left your cloud identities totally exposed. Plus, it was incredibly complex and expensive to run, and it only ever solved one small piece of a much, much bigger security puzzle. So to tackle this new landscape, Microsoft came up with a whole new philosophy, one built from the ground up for our modern hybrid world, the Enterprise Access Model. Now, this isn't just some small update, it's a complete paradigm shift. The Enterprise Access Model is designed to give you consistent, unified access control across your entire digital estate. We're talking on-prem, multi-cloud, your internal users, your external partners, the whole shebang, all under one modern framework. And at the very heart of this new model are the three core principles of Zero Trust. First, assume breach. Basically, you gotta act as if the bad guys are already inside your network. Second, explicitly verify. Don't trust anyone by default. Always authenticate and authorize every single access request. And third, least privilege. Only give people the exact access they need to do their jobs, and for only as long as they need it. No more, no less. So you might be asking, okay, how does this all work in the real world? Well, the model gets rid of those old, rigid tiers and brings in a much more flexible and logical concept: planes of control. Let's break this down. At the bottom, you have the control plane. Think of this as your foundation. It's your core identity system, your master key directory. Right above that is the management plane. This is where your IT admins live, where they configure servers and services. And then at the very top, you have the data plane, which holds the crown jewels, your actual applications and data. The single most important rule here, the one to remember, is that a lower plane can never be allowed to control a higher one. And this slide is great because it shows you exactly how the old thinking evolves into the new. What we used to call Tier 0, our most critical admin accounts, that's now expanded into this entire control plane. And the old Tiers 1 and 2 are broken out into more logical, distinct areas, like the management plane and specific user access, which, let's be honest, is a much better reflection of how a modern company actually works. Okay, so that's the theory. Theory is great, but what does this actually mean for you? How do you take this new model and apply it to your own environment? Let's get into the playbook. This is probably the number one question on everyone's mind, especially for organizations that have already invested a ton of time and money into that old Red Forest architecture. Is it time to tear it all down? And look, the answer from Microsoft is pretty clear. Nope, there's no urgent need to decommission a well-run ESAE. Keep it patched, keep maintaining it, but, and this is the really critical part, you must complement it with the modern strategy. Why? Because your red forest doesn't protect your cloud admins or your sensitive business users, and you've got to cover those massive gaps. This quote right here really hits the nail on the head. Microsoft is making it super clear. They aren't telling you to abandon good security habits. What they're saying is that the architecture is outdated, but the principles of good cyber hygiene that it was built on, those are more important than ever. In fact, some of the core habits from the old model are still absolute best practice today. Using dedicated, hardened machines called Privileged Access Workstations, or PAWS, for all admin work, still critical. Same goes for enforcing multi-factor authentication everywhere for admins and just relentlessly pursuing that model of least privilege. These habits are simply non-negotiable. And for those of you still running a lot of on-prem Active Directory, the game is all about hardening what you've got. That means stripping down what's running on your domain controllers, creating backups that can't be changed to survive ransomware, and constantly assessing your AD for vulnerabilities and those common attack paths. All right, so as we wrap this up, what's the one big idea, the single biggest takeaway from all of this? It's this right here. Security is not some static project you finish one day. It's a living, breathing strategy that has to constantly adapt to new tech, new ways of working, and of course, new threats. The move from the red forest to this zero trust-based model is the perfect example of that principle in action. And that leaves us with one final, crucial question to ask ourselves. It's not about whether your security was good enough for yesterday. It's about whether your strategy is agile and ready for whatever's coming next. Thanks for joining us.